YouTube channel show. It is Sunday, February 18, 2024. Unfortunately, we're going to start off with a death, and that is the death of the topic known as Bobby Xmas. I don't know why this topic has created so much lore and fandom over the last month and a half. It's very simple. Bobby loves Christmas. He sets up something in his living room called Christmas Central. He makes videos about it. His birthday is near Christmas. He has a birthday party that doubles as a Christmas party where it's his birthday, yet he gives out gifts, okay? And I reciprocate. I give him a gift. But that's it. That's all Bobby Xmas is. Jesus Christ, hallelujah. Let's move on to the next topic. Mall Chinese food. Something about mall Chinese food is just appealing. You know it's cheap, you know it's junk, but you know it's something that you want and it's something that you crave. You want that nuclear fried rice. You want that glimmering red pork. You want that shiny honey sesame chicken. Those are the things that you want. But head to head at Holyoke Mall, that's right, Nita and myself, we're at the Holyoke Mall checking that place out, a place I haven't been to in about 10 years or so. And we were both craving this terrible, delicious mall Chinese food. And there were two options. So we actually split up. Yeah, we split up temporarily. She went to one place, I went to the other. I don't even remember their names because it's not that important. But we should have planned better because we each got our own thing and we're going to compare the two Chinese foods next to each other. Okay? So on my plate, I got some lo mein. I got some bourbon chicken. I got some roast barbecue, boneless barbecue spare ribs, okay? That's what I got. And so which reminds me, I think I was at that Cajun luau. That's another thing, all right? These Chinese places that call themselves Cajun Louisiana, like, listen, it's still Chinese food, okay? You know, the fried rice at a Cajun luau place is just, they call it jambalaya. Folks, it is merely fried rice. So Nina went to another location, and she also happened to get lo mein. She also happened to get boneless barbecue spare ribs, and I believe some kind of a honey chicken as well. And once we opened the two to-go containers, we're like, damn, how do we end up getting the same exact things? Well, 2 peas in a pod, 2 peas at the Holyoke Mall, and that's what we were. Later on that night, we were at the mall, of course, and she mentioned, have you ever seen the movie Mallrats? To which I had never seen the movie Mallrats, and I was curious, being a mall goer myself, along with headliner topic of today, Bobby Gaines. We are the mall tour people, and I had never seen this movie Mallrats, and it starred a few notable names, but it was a decent movie, but, you know, it was a movie from the mid-90s, and it had one of the main storylines is like a manager stooping a person who is not of age, and it's being played for laughs in this Kevin Smith movie. And it's just kind of like, that's what happens. You watch all these old movies, and, you know, you can watch movies from the mid-90s, from the early 2000s, and you're like, these things are wrong. You can't laugh at these nowadays. But then again, it's like watching movies from the 1930s, 1920s, 1940s, and, you know, you see how they treated black actors and black people in society via the movie. You know, I was on a Humphrey Bogart kick, and, oh, man, you just have to accept that it was a product of its time, and you can accept that, but you can also sense to yourself, this is not right, something should be done about this, but will you laugh anyway? You might laugh anyway. Lunar New Year. That was an event that happened somewhat recently, probably telling you when I write notes on which topics I'm going to cover on the JonLy Has a YouTube Channel show. But when I thought about it, I'm like, Lunar New Year, you know, many things have many names sometimes, but it's typically known as Chinese New Year. But it's called Lunar New Year. So if you don't know the difference, neither do I. However, I would think that the term Lunar New Year is a more modern term, a more inclusive term, inclusive being the word of the decade, of the past 2 decades, where, you know, you don't want to leave anyone behind. You want everyone to be joined at the hip together all the time, forever. No one's excluded ever, you know. So it being formerly known as Chinese New Year and me being mostly a Vietnamese person, do you celebrate Chinese New Year? It's like, yes, but you're not Chinese. Let's not get into that, okay? Let's not get into that. Let's just say that I'm mostly Vietnamese. But as a mostly Vietnamese person, what about people from Cambodia, Laos, the Philippines, Japan, Mongolia? Do they celebrate Chinese New Year? They might. But they might also celebrate it and be more comfortable with the term calling it Lunar New Year. So there you go. There's probably more to it than that, but that's what I've gathered between the difference between Lunar New Year and Chinese New Year. But speaking of such, I did go to Rockville, Connecticut, a place I've been to a few times. There's a Buddhist temple there that some member of my family likes to go to at times, and I begrudgingly go. But this time he wanted to go because of the aforementioned Lunar New Year, and I decided to make it all about myself. Okay, just like the show, I decided to make it about myself, and I decided to find something local that I could do because I don't really care to go to the temple or the church. Yeah, I don't care. Nearby in Rockville, Connecticut, is a Civil War museum, and I decided to check that out because I do have some odd curiosities about the Civil War. And much to my dismay, there was no Iron Man and there was no Captain America. But I made it. It's free to get into. It's only open 2 days a week, Saturday and Sundays. And like I said, it's free. It's something to do in an obscure town in Connecticut, so you can check that out. I would go back, because I left the place mostly unexplored because I got a phone call telling me to leave after having read only 2 exhibits. And for those that have never been to a museum setting before, here's my advice, and the advice of the curator in charge, is to take your time, read everything. So if you can't read, museums are not for you. But take your time, read everything that you can, and soak it all in, drink it all in, man. And next time I have to go back to that area, Rockville, Connecticut, I will surely stop. Don't call me Shirley at the Civil War Museum in Rockville, Connecticut. Again, free to get into, open Saturdays and Sundays, volunteer run. And I hope to check out more of that exhibit in the future. But while I was there, I was able to make my way to Rains Deli in Vernon, Connecticut. It was a Jewish deli in the style of New York Jewish delis. And if you don't know anything about it, let me tell you something about it. They have these piled high sandwiches you may have seen on such shows as Seinfeld and other things, because I don't watch Seinfeld. But you might have heard of legendary piled high sandwiches, like yay high. That's how many yays. And their most notable items are the pastrami and the corned beef sandwiches. And hey, I had to go for the original. I went for a piled high corned beef sandwich. It was absolutely delicious, absolutely worth the money. And it was actually a long wait. Apparently it's behind the Sabbath of some sort. But it was quite a wait at Ryan's. I can't even pronounce it correctly. Ryan's Deli. And as a matter of fact, I am supposed to be drinking a special soda of some sort. They actually have a celery-flavored Dr. Brown's soda at Ryan's Deli. And on the future edition, I will flavor test that because I did buy the can to drink it on the show. But I guess, much like Bobby Christmas, you're going to have to wait until next time because Johnny's memory ain't so goody. But Dad got the pastrami sandwich, and I actually thought the pastrami actually tasted better. And as a matter of fact, you can go Frankenstein and go crazy, and you get pastrami and corned beef, perhaps. Ooh, I'm looking forward to the tongue. You think tongue is weird? Mexicans eat it. Jewish people eat it. You should eat it too. Beef tongue. Okay, beef tongue and pastrami, beef tongue and corned beef. I can't wait to try that again. Okay. Dad didn't like it. He preferred a banh mi, and that's a whole other topic. That's another 10-minute show. We can talk about banh mi all day long. It's a Vietnamese sandwich for those that don't know what a banh mi is. And last topic here within 15 seconds. You know what? We just can't make it. So we have to leave a topic for the next time that I have a YouTube channel show. I like to do these Sundays at 11 a.m. If I am home and if I am available and free, I like to do a show. So thank you all for watching. And we will